Mullen Automotive may have finished the day down, but it looks like David Michery may have got caught out on national television. Hi again, everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. So what looked like being a day of stability in the stock ended on a sharp drop at the end of the day, with the stock giving up 3 cents to close off at 50 cents per share. Now, what's disappointing about this is it all kind of comes in line with the timing of the interview that was on Fox Business Channel. Now, I know a number of you probably watched it, but it was a very, very interesting interview. I thought, like, that. Obviously, we had like the discussion around the legal case, and they also talked about, Charles Schwab's response to it, saying that, of course, what you'd expect, that they think it's a far-fetched and an overreaching accusation that they're throwing at the organisation, as they would. Following the questions around the court case, the presenter actually then asked some questions of David Michery, which I think caught him off guard, and they were very telling in, what many shareholders in MULN Automotive are thinking. So I'll play the clip just here.
Now, to the company is that Schwab always acted professionally, legally, and ethically in this manner. David, let me go back to the company. A lot of concerns about your salary, the losses. I went through the last quarter. One thing that jumped out at me on general and administrative spending, $31 million, just as a business itself. Why are you spending $31 million on SG&A costs and things like that?
Well, we're a growing business. Obviously, this is a space where it's very expensive to get a vehicle into production.
That's the research and development side. I got you. But the general and administrative costs, to me, are just outlandish. And particularly, here's the thing. People are saying you've taken a lot of money. You paid yourself a lot of money. And this kind of spending, it just doesn't make sense for a small company like yours.
Well, in relation to, let's say, compensation, whatever compensation that was awarded me in my employment contract, or compensation pursuant to awards were given. And
David, can you hear me? All right, you're fading out, and I've got 20 seconds. One last thing: these stock splits. Okay, I read your firm. What the firm is saying is that these stock splits were done to stay compliant with NASDAQ listings. But every time you split your stock, it becomes fodder for the shorts. I mean, when you go 1 for 25 and then one for authorized, 1 for 100, you do 1 for 9. We know that the shorts pounce. So, folks, it looks like we're having some audio issues with David. We're running out of time. We'll pick this up again. We want to go over these stock splits, which to me are just nuts. They're nuts. All you're doing is helping the shorts. We'll also talk about the role of dark pools, because it really seems nefarious to me.
So it was quite an interesting little segment of the interview I just showed you there. Now, David was obviously asked about the administrative costs and general expenses of the business, as well as the fact that there's questions around whether or not him and the management team are being paid too much. David really flips and flops and doesn't really give a straight answer, and almost pauses on the spot like Mitch McConnell did the other day. It doesn't paint a very good image. It was someone who looked like he was clearly lost for words or stumped and wasn't expecting those questions. The presenter actually probably saves David Michery a bit of face by then going on and saying that we're having audio and connection issues. But really, that wasn't what was happening. There was nothing wrong with the stream. It was David Michery just kind of froze on screen, and for like a couple of seconds, almost like thinking, and then the reporter cuts him in. And you can hear David Michery actually start talking and moving while the reporter is responding. So the reporter's actually done him a favour. Then the reporter kind of goes on and talks about the reverse stock splits and how it's sent the stock down every time to manipulate the share price as such. So when I looked at this video clip, I really thought David Michery looked lost for words here. Now, it's hard to say whether or not like this performance in this national interview is what led to the sell-off in the stock price, but it seems like the two kind of happened simultaneously, and there was no really other news for MULN Automotive. So I think this interview probably started all right with the legal expert talking about the court case, but then when David Michery was asked about some ongoing issues which don't necessarily get addressed, we kind of have like a very awkward moment on screen, and it doesn't look good. These are concerns that shareholders have had for MULN Automotive for some time, and David Michery was brought to account and kind of given a little bit of a twist, but then the reporter dialed it back down a bit and sort of allowed him to save face. So anyway, I thought generally it was a pretty bad performance by David in the interview. But at the same time, I thought it was good that he was being held to account for questions that a lot of the very big retail share base have of MULN Automotive and David Michery's performance at the helm of that organisation. Yeah, anyway, what do you guys all think about that? Do you think like the reaction of the share price was a response to David Michery's performance in the interview? Was there something else that's behind that late minute sell that continued into the aftermarket? Yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, if you find this sort of content of someone who's just like an average retail investor talking about MULN Automotive interesting or useful, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, until next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favour. Cheers.